So in my last video, I shared 5 top questions to ask before applying for a PhD. I think it's only fair to share my journey and my experience and the things I did that helped me through my PhD journey. So today I'll be sharing 7 keys to surviving your PhD journey. While I'm doing that, I'll be sharing how these keys work for me as well. Please know that I don't know it all, so let's figure it out together. Now, statistics. 40 to 50% of PhDs do not finish their journeys. And the number is actually closer to 50 than 40 in the US. What this means is that nearly half of all PhDs do not make it to the finish line. It is therefore important to arm yourself with as many proven and tested keys as possible so that you can survive this journey. Now, that is where I come in. The idea of obtaining a PhD or being a PhD seems quite fancy on the outside, but the reality is the journey is a very tough and lonely one for which you need to prepare properly. I recommend you read this great book, How to Complete and Survive a Doctoral Dissertation by Dr. David Sternberg. It's a bit old, but then the information and the content are still very relevant even now. I'll assume at this point that you've done the due diligence of getting a good research topic or research area to focus on, a good supervisor, and a good university, just as we discussed in my last video. Having checked those boxes, I believe that these 7 keys I'm about to share with you will help you in your journey, just as it did for me, regardless of your location or your discipline. Top on the list is adapt and be creative. But now, for those that changed institutions and moved into a new environment or a new university, you'd have to quickly adapt and accept the new environment you found yourself. Adapt and integrate yourself into this new research community in which you found yourself now. Bury yourself in your research, get creative in your community, integrate yourself into the community, and try and be involved as much as possible. I'm not going to spend so much time dwelling on this so that we can move along. Now, number 2 tip is for you to see yourself beyond the PhD. The PhD journey can be a very lonely and tasking and draining one, but a way to go through it is to constantly remind yourself why you left everything else to come for this in the first place. So you know that, yes, this is not the end game, this is just a means to an end. So you want to keep your eyes on the prize every single time at every single turn. When things get difficult, remind yourself of the prize. Remind yourself that there's a life after PhD, and then going through this process is just a way to get to that life after the PhD. And having this mindset might even help you decide better on the relationship to keep and to build and the skills to acquire while you're on your PhD journey. My number 3 key is for you to offer value. You would want to volunteer your skills, the skills you had before getting into the PhD. You want to volunteer your skills. I did a lot of community work and a lot of volunteer work in my university. Doing this would help you communicate a sense of value to both your supervisor, to your department, even to people around you, to your peers. Remember, your peers are going to be the people you're going to work with, or people that would form your basic network going forward, even after the PhD. So you'd want to communicate that value to everybody around you, that you're valuable. This is a great way to prepare for your life after your PhD. Please know that it is okay to be used and to be useful to people around you. It is another way to build experience, but then, you must be careful with this because some senior academics can really go overboard with this. So you'll be careful to know who you lend your skills to. Solve real problems in the community, the research community. This may be a great tip for those that are hoping to continue in the teaching and research line in the academia. This will be a great tip for you. And even if you're thinking of exploring another path, another career path, this will be a great way to even explore your options in those ways. Solve real problems. Number 4 is to offer services for money. This is a great tip for the students without funding, without scholarship, or without any financial support from outside. Now get this, it is always better to do your PhD without the need to make money on the side for survival. It will help you focus on your research and help you finish even faster. However, if you do not have any kind of financial support, please by all means offer paid services like writing, content creation, editing, teaching or tutoring, and a lot more. I did a lot of these things alongside my home renovation gig that I was running then, and it helped me survive through school. If you do not have a skill yet, it is still fine. Skillshare is a very great place to learn new skills. I'll leave a link to their platform in the description. My number 5 tip is for you to build networks and relationships. And a great way to do this is by collaborating and interacting with other disciplines or other academics in your field. You would want to go to conferences and seminars to build networks, build academic and professional friendships. Keep in mind that your PhD is just for 4 years or for 5 years, so you want to build quality and strategic relationships that will help you even after your PhD. If this video has been helpful so far, please hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get updates when we post new contents like this as we figure things out together. Thank you. My number 6 tip is that don't give your supervisor a bad impression of you. This is a great tip because your supervisor literally determines the pace and the success or the failure of your research. So it is really suicidal to give him the impression that you are not of value, that you are not competent, or you don't respect his time, or you are not a serious person. You do not want to start your PhD that way. This may ruin your relationship and affect your progress. For me, I had one of the best supervisors in the world, and I'll keep saying that. However, it is not just about who he was or who he is. Some part of the work was done by me again, because I never ever flouted any instruction. I made sure I met up with my deadlines. I did not give him the impression that I was lazy or I was unserious. So most likely I'll get a good response from him, and we had a very good relationship, and we still do have a very good relationship. My next video will be on how to deal with a difficult supervisor. In case you have issues or currently have issues with your supervisor, please check out my next video. It will help you, I believe. Now, my number 7 and my final tip is for you to prioritize your mental health. It is important for you to know that it is a marathon, not a sprint. The PhD process is a marathon, not a sprint, so you would want to take it easy on yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back sometimes. Sometimes it gets very tough. Sometimes you need to encourage yourself and even celebrate your little wins. Exercise, I can't say that enough. You need to exercise and get some breeze into your head. Take out time to just go and hang out, and be very intentional about your social life. The PhD process is one that is probably designed to stifle every other life, your spiritual life and your social life, if you're not careful. So make sure you're intentional about building your spirituality and and your social life, so that you build structures to protect your mental health. And this is really key to your progress, because I've seen people that couldn't handle it mentally and they just dropped out. So don't hide and bury yourself in research every time as if, oh, I'm a PhD student, have to do this. No, you really need to also do other things, like build relationships with people, with your spouse, with your friends, with your colleagues. Let them know that you're still available and not just buried in this world of PhD. This may seem a bit obvious, but please know that the PhD process is a means to an end and not an end itself. What this means is that there's a time or a clock attached to your candidature, and it's going to elapse one day. So you may want to spend the time when you are a PhD candidate to prepare for the life after. You have access to probably free internet, to people, to academics, to colleagues. You have the clean slate now to build impressions on. Please be intentional about building relationships. Be intentional about preparing for the life after the PhD, and the sky will be your starting point. Now, this obviously are not the only keys to surviving a PhD. So you may want to please share your keys or what you think works for you or what worked for you in the comment section, so that we can figure this out together as well. If you have enjoyed this video, like I said earlier, please check out my next video, 5 ways to deal with a difficult supervisor. If you're going through difficulty with your supervisor, or you know somebody that's going through a difficulty, or you're a supervisor and you probably don't know your students are experiencing some difficulty with you, this might just help you to know that, and probably to know how to change yourself. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.